Sophia, this is crazy! Crazy!
This week I experienced motorsport like you've never seen it before.
The fear is setting in now of how real this is.
From drift cars to insane buggies in the sand, we head to Dubai for some absolute manic motorsport madness. So sit back, relax and enjoy, and let us show you how things are taken care of motorsport style here in the Middle East.
1,500 horsepower, no joke, you feel every single bit of it, and it's madness. So I've just arrived in Dubai and I've found myself, out of nowhere, an Egyptian co-host. This is Mohammed Rahmani, I'm sorry, yes. It's very, too exotic, I forgot. Listen, I'm a little bit jet lagged from the plane, a little bit tired. Yeah. I was going to present and welcome everybody, but you're here, so why don't you welcome the people instead?
Welcome in Dubai.
Welcome to Dubai.
Bravo.
Everybody.
Yeah.
That's right. Boom. Boom. Dubai. It's good to do. There we are. So here we are in the beautiful Dubai deserts and dunes, surrounded by some of the most breathtaking buggies you will ever see in your life. You think you've seen quad biking, you think you've seen buggy racing, you ain't seen nothing until you've experienced being in the back of one of these Lamborghinis of the sand. It's all part of the faster challenge to convince me that motorsport is the greatest and can't be defeated by anything else. I'm not convinced it is, but they reckon by the end of this week, going in and out of Dubai and Abu Dhabi, that I'm going to see motorsport in a whole new way, and quite frankly, I can't wait to find out if it's true. So here we are, day one, a beautiful, breathtaking day out here in the Dubai desert, and we're waiting for the owner of Desert Squad, Sofian, who's very, very nicely offered to show us around. Speaking of which, here he is right now. Sofian, nice to meet you. A real pleasure. Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome,
so,
bro.
I'm going to tell you the truth straight off the bat. I expected maybe something a little bit bigger than this. I'm not saying this doesn't look fun, but I expected something with a bit more power if we're going to go for a drive.
This one, bro, is for the kids.
For the children?
Yeah, yeah.
So we're going in.
Bigger one than this.
Oh, well, let's go.
Come on, bro.
These massive ones?
No, it's okay.
But you
Come
got
on.
medium-sized ones. These are the big ones. I mean, that one's too small, but maybe this one too big to start.
Look the face.
Aggressive.
Yeah, come, let's go.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, when they were bringing these out for the photo setup, I had a feeling we might be going in one of these. I should have known better. And just like that, in the deep end of my first proper adventure here in the Middle East, in this 200 brake horsepower, 1 litre turbocharged Can-Am. Sofian had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. Little did I know this was going to be nothing compared to some of the things I would experienced down the line. And that brought me to the end of the first day in Dubai, and my goodness, I had to calm down. I actually thought with Sofiane's driving, I wasn't going to make it through the end of the week. Speaking of which, I couldn't help but have the thought in the back of my mind that if this was only our first day, and with the things that I'd been promised were in store, actually, I hadn't seen anything yet.
I just have to have. I don't know what happened. It was. Sofiane tried to kill me out there. His driving was too crazy.
For him, this little for him now.
Sofiane, that's easy for you.
Of course, bro.
And hard work for me, of course, bro. Definitely.
So after 2 incredible days rambling around the dunes in the desert with some amazing buggies, I wanted to get out of the blistering sun and kind of get back to a more familiar territory. And so we've come down to see Red Bull athletes Ahmed Daham, and he is here in his workshop, and he's got an unbelievable drift car here. He's going to be taking it out to Oman. He's one of the best drivers in the Middle East, and we just wanted to catch up. We had a free morning and see what his plans are, and funnily enough, he's just arrived as we're speaking now. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Nathan.
Nice to meet you too.
Real pleasure.
Thank you, man.
We were just talking about your workshop here and your cars. We're going to be heading out, I believe, today. Well, you took me to the track.
We're going to be heading to the track to do some testing.
Fantastic.
With a new drifter. He's a 15-year-old drifter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be quite interesting. We're going to be testing the car, making sure it's okay, setting up the car, alignment, tune-wise.
So we've arrived on a rather special...
right time.
Awesome. Well, if it's all right with you, we'll head out to the track.
Ready?
And absolutely.
Yep, let's go.
Absolutely.
Show you some drifting now.
Let's do this. Tim, you are 15 years of age. You're from Ukraine. You're here with Ahmed. What's the story here? Fill me in on the gaps. What am I missing?
So we came here to Dubai, honestly, just to have a rest, I don't know, from Ukraine because it was cold there. And we just wanted to go to a drift night training, that's what they call it here. And we found Ahmed, and here I am.
15 years of age, and he's out there manipulating that drift car, that BMW, into doing exactly what he wants it to do. He hasn't got a lot of seat time before he heads out to Oman next week. We're going to be in Oman, so we're going to get to see up close and personal how he does out there under the pressure. Like I said, at such a young age against some very, very top drivers. But I think we can expect good things both in Oman and down the line. However, what's really piquing my interest is getting to know more about the local superstar Ahmed Daham, and really getting to know what his car's about, what he's building, what his plans are, what he's going to be up to, and why he is such a big deal out here. So we're going to find that out right now.
I grew up with a family who actually liked cars, whether it was my older brother, my father, my sister, and even my mother. I started in time attack racing, autocross racing. I didn't even know what drifting was. Before racing, actually, I started tuning cars through the ECU. That's where I really got deeply involved in cars. And one day, we tuned a car for a friend of mine. We actually built him a BMW drift car. And he actually didn't know how to drive it. So he was like, I want to sell the car because I don't know what I'm doing. So he suggested that the only way, or the best way actually, to sell the car is to do some marketing for the car. So we decided to take part in the Red Bull Car Park Drift Qualifier back in Jordan in 2011. It was the first time I ever drive a rear-wheel drive car. I competed, I got first place, and that's where I got hooked into drifting. I won the Jordanian Drift Championship, I won the Red Bull Car Park Drift qualifiers in Jordan. So I decided it's time to up the level, let's say. So I decided to come compete in the UAE. and I actually competed for the first time, and also won my first drift competition here. To be honest, I never expected I'm going to be in that position. And we used to watch Mad Mike's video online, and I actually had the chance to compete with Mad Mike in Oman, and I beat him. I saw it coming, but I don't know when. But yeah, that definitely feels good. And one of the main highlights, I think, of my life was getting invited to the Goodwood Festival of Speed. I am the first Arab drifter to be invited there. We put on a good show. I've always seen it online. I've always dreamt of watching it, being there in UK, so imagine getting invited and being part of it. And what I like most about drifting is the fans. The biggest crowd for any motorsport discipline is drifting, especially the young generation. I'd be at a drift event, a 12-year-old would be shouting my name, whether it's girls or boys. They all love drifting, because drifting is a quite interesting thing to watch. There's a lot of sounds, a lot of smoke, so the young generation like that. So yeah, I also enjoy putting a good show for the fans.
And so we are here on what is the Dubai's version of Sunday. On Saturday, everybody's off work and there's a whole bunch of drivers coming down. The machines are out, they've been fine-tuned, the fuel's in, they've all been checked, and we're about to experience today. High Octane doesn't quite put into words how ridiculous I've been informed today is going to be. So we tried to go out last night, and the police actually stopped us. They said it was the first time in 4 or 5 years of them driving out into the desert. We were caught on the road, the police were having none of it, and they sent us back. But rules are there to be broken, and this baptism of fire was not going to be stopped. With a small diversion, we ended up 1,500 brake horsepower on our way up and down the dunes in an unbelievable and never ever able to forget moment. You kind of have an out-of-body experience where you think this isn't real life, because you put your foot down and there's a point where you go from a speed that you think, even in the fastest of cars, I felt this speed, and then you kind of go, it's almost like a Star Wars or Guardians of the Galaxy where they push that and they go through time.
Correct.
And all of a sudden the G-force kicks in.
Absolutely.
And you don't feel like a human being for a split second.
Correct.
Up a hill, your brain gets used to the science of when you're going uphill, you can't go that fast. Like you would see a surfer ride a wave, except you did it in this vehicle in the sand.
In the sand.
I don't know what
I think today it was like a very casual, and it was like, I would say it's like more of chill out cruising. It's just like we're chilling. We're not really pushing. You see
to me, that is insane. So
let's see
more,
the second stage what's gonna be look like.
It's as close to living in a video game as you can possibly get. Things just don't seem real when it's happening. That's apparently going to happen going down a dune on 2 wheels. I don't know what I'm more terrified or exhilaratingly excited, but I guess we're going to find out which.
Where's your helmet?
It doesn't fit, none of them. Even he looks worried. I'm worried now. We're struggling to get me a helmet that fits. I tried telling Fifth that if I die, he won't feel the pain. He's not interested.
Answer to the same question. How many?
The fear is setting in now of how real this is. I'm genuinely concerned. Why don't you look concerned? Oh my goodness. Well, if there's no sequel to this, we know why.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. Gonna get their attention. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary. Yeah, we're gonna be legends.
And just like that, thanks to our incredible host NASA, the madness well and truly began. The days of the 200 brake horsepower seemed like a distant memory as I arrived to this 1,500 horsepower monster of the sand, this Lamborghini of the desert, and saw things, the sights on top of some of the biggest dunes the Middle East has to offer was a surreal and monumental moment.
Been dreaming of the payoff, the struggles and the trade-offs. Right in truth, they nail on the way up. Tell them the truth, but they think it's just made up.
This is unlike anything I've ever seen or experienced in my entire life. People are, don't get me wrong, you've got the high performance, crazy horsepower cars here, but then you've just got a whole bunch of 4x4s you'd see going up the M1 past Northampton, being driven up these sound no intentions of slowing down. In fact, quite the contrary. I actually think they're just getting warmed up.
Cause we're gonna be legends, gonna get their attention. What we're doing here ain't just scary, it's about to be legendary.
It was during these brief moments in between the wheelies and the G-force and the jumps that I had these tiny, important moments of clarity where it really dawned on me just what was happening and what monumental memories I was creating right there and then under the hot sun in the red sand deserts of Dubai, experiencing things that, well, quite frankly, are just not for sale, and feeling incredibly grateful that I was able to be there and be a part of things that not only myself but many other people can only dream of doing.
For the rest of my life. So after 4 days of rattling around the red hot deserts of Dubai on some incredible high performance sand buggies, we decided to change the pace today and arrive at Dubai's largest car show. And the greatest thing about this is that we're not on some tarmac or on some gravel, we're on some beautiful green grass with the world's tallest building just beaming through the skies there, and there are hundreds if not thousands of cars from every single make, model and country that you can imagine. The GTRs, the Porsches, the Toyotas, the Ferraris, you name it, it's here. However, it's the Yank tanks that I'm most excited about finding. As an owner of a 73 Chrysler myself, I'm looking for those big American muscle cruising cars. And I think I found one that I like an awful lot.
And so here, in front of the world's tallest building with the sun beaming down on us, in front of this quite magnificent array of car collections, I felt the journey had come to an end. But then out of nowhere, as things often do, things and the plans were to be changed as the phone rang and we were presented with an offer. And well, quite frankly, an experience that only comes around once in a lifetime.
So we were all ready to leave, bags were packed, basically on the way to the airport, and we got a last minute phone call informing us that the guys with the crazy high horsepower buggies were going to be taken to the sands, and when they explained what they were doing, we had to make some changes and we had to head back out here because they explained that they were going to now perform a drag race out here in the dunes. Mental. Now I've been to Santa Pod and I've seen the vehicles, the big, drag cars on the tarmac going side by side, and it's a very, very impressive sight. But I couldn't help keep thinking, what would that look like on the sand? There's only one place you're going to experience that, and that is here in Dubai. So in a once in a lifetime opportunity, we're going to go and find out if what they can do on the tarmac can be done in the sand.
Now along our journey and throughout somewhere in the desert, we'd encountered a man by the name of Chad from CB Media, a man that eats horsepower for breakfast, a man that knows an awful lot about cars. So while I was dealing with a little bit of dehydration and sunstroke, I thought I'd call in my tag team partner to give us the lowdown on some sand drag racing.
What's up guys, my name's Chad. I'm from the YouTube channel CB Media. Today we're going drag racing, but I guess kind of Dubai style. Instead of a properly prepped racetrack, you're doing it on what is essentially sand. So these cars are basically tube chassis pro mod cars that they've adjusted the suspension and the tires to drag race in sand. And it's going to be pretty freaking interesting. I've ridden in some crazy cars and boats and experienced some pretty wild motorbike racing and stuff all over the world. But this is visually, I think this is going to be probably top tier, because from what we haven't seen this yet, but from what I've seen on the internet, the rooster tails of sand coming off of these what do you call them, buggies? I don't know, it's gonna be pretty wild.
It's a very, very
It's a completely different experience and sensory overload than anything I've ever seen before, especially racing on asphalt. Here we run a little bit shorter. It's 300 feet in about 2.6 seconds, and they pull about 4 Gs through the middle. The adrenaline rush and the competition, I mean, we're in Dubai. There's some of the best racers in the world on sand and on asphalt out here.
And just like that, the most surreal 7 days I've ever experienced came to an end. As I was stood there with the rooster tails of sand blasting off into the sky, I couldn't help but reflect on the week that I'd had, the people that I'd met, the cars and the vehicles I'd been lucky enough to be able to get inside and see with my own eyes, and just really made me feel grateful and I think quite frankly respect and understand on a deeper level just why motorsport is so loved and revered and respected by millions of people around the world.
I actually get more attention and more people love this if I share a video of these than I do of a drag car. They got big long rooster tails of sand out the back, they're doing wheelies. They're pretty neat to watch.
And that is the definition of going out with a bang. Never thought I'd see anything like that, but when you know, Dubai strikes once again. And that brings me to the end of a most insane week of motorsport action and memories out here in the Middle East. I mean, I was just under 2 weeks ago and I received the call asking me to come out here, and they challenged me and told me, if you don't love and see motorsport in a new way by the time you finished, well then we'll call it a day. But I tell you what, I'm happy to admit I couldn't have been more wrong. I experienced doing wheelies down the biggest mountains of the Red Sand Desert. Add on that some wild drifting and some unbelievable cars out in the city centre. And this has been, I feel like I'm in virtual reality. Like what I've been a part of can't have been real, but it has been. And the only way to ever experience these kind of motorsport adventures is right here in Dubai. Fortunately for me, I've acquired a Egyptian co-host, Mohammed Romani. Very, very exotic name. Listen, I'm a little bit tired, jet lagged. Why don't you give them a message and I'll save my voice. Mohammed, tell the people.
Actually, I love all the people in the world.
Everybody.
I love all the religion in the world.
Every single one.
I never different any religion, different any. I don't like racism people in the world.
Never.
Like a Greek, like a British, like Egypt, like Arab, African, Indian, Asian. We are human. Love you.
Human being forever.
Yeah.
Human beings. I'm gonna do it. You ready? Here we go.
Bullshit, man.
I'm trying. Right, one more time. Ready? I've never smoked ever, anything ever, nothing ever.
Oh,
cigarette,
right.
nothing.
But Greek, when he's smoking, you will see.
Yeah, he's been smoking since he was like 6 years old. Do you know what I mean?
Greek and Egyptian.
Number one bullshit guy.
This is not true. This guy. Here we go. I'm not playing. You guys. I almost feel like I've got a friend out here because I'm the only English guy that I've met out here, but to have an American friend out here makes me kind of feel like someone
Sort
else.
of friends.
What kind of friends?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
You're all right.
Yeah, you're all right too.